Hello, today I want to show you how to create data center proxies with VULTR. We will need just the VULTR APK to start creating proxies. So Google for VULTR 100 trial or VULTR free credit, and you will receive 100 free credit for your VULTR account. If you don't have a VULTR account, once you sign in, then you will see something like I do, and in your VULTR dashboard you will just need to click on your username and API. Then just copy your personal ACES token and make sure that you have in ACES control enabled any IPv4. Once you have your VULTR APK, you can close VULTR and return back to create proxy. Then just click on VULTR and click on add account. You can insert name of your VULTR account. You can now paste your VULTR APK, and you can keep everything default and just click on add VULTR account. So you may add more VULTR profiles if you want to, same way as I did right now. Then just because now we are starting creating proxies, there is no more setting required. So just select data center where you want to create proxies. I want to create proxies in Germany. Select the instance. Select how many instances you want to create. I want to create just one. And select how many IPv6 proxies you want to create. If you want only HTTP and SOCKS 5 IPv4 proxies, then insert here 0. If you want IPv6 HTTP proxies, insert number of proxies that you want to create with every single instance. So for example, if you want, you may want to create 500 of IPv6 proxies for every other instance. Basically, if you select the number of instances 2, then create proxy will create 500 for each of these two. Basically, you will receive 1000. Also, I am not recommending you to create more than 500 with, or maybe 800 with cheap instance with just 1 gigs on RAM, because your proxies may not work if you create a lot of IPv6 proxies. So this is because every single IPv6 proxy need its own port, and so if you insert here like 2000, then your instance for sure has not enough RAM to handle all of them. Okay, so be careful on the number of IPv6 proxies you are creating, and if you need to create more, then you will need to select different instance with more RAM. So I'm recommending you to select like 500 if you need IPv6 proxies, or maybe 800 will work as well. You can select credentials authorization if you want to secure your proxies with login, and I mean username and password. You can insert here whatever username and password you want. So you may then use these credentials to access your proxies, or you may secure them by IP address. If you need more IP addresses that may use this proxy, just insert them like this. Separate them by comma. If you don't check this option, then you will receive all these 500 or whatever number of IPv6 proxies in your proxy list. If you check these, you will not receive any of these 500 IPv6 proxies in your proxy list. Instead, you may use these 500 IPv6 proxies without management, routers, or you may sell them on marketplace. If you don't check this, you can't sell them on marketplace, you can't use auto management, and you can't use them for routers. But you will see them in a proxy list. So that's why here is this option. I want to secure my proxies with login, and let's just create these proxies. Just click on create VULTR proxies. Okay, our proxy has been created, but we need to still wait for installation to be complete. It may take a few minutes. Okay, so we have our proxies in our proxy list, and as you see, from one instance we have 502 entries, which mean we have one HTTP IPv4 proxy, one SOX5 IPv4 proxy, and 500 HTTP IPv6 proxies from one single instance. So let's try if our proxies are working. Let's try first the HTTP proxy from this server. Okay, I am using Foxy proxy extension for Firefox to try proxies in browser. So I click add, and it's HTTP IPv4 VULTR. So I'm going to enable this proxy, and let's try. So as you see, we are using now our proxy IPv4 address. And location of this IP address is in Germany. And let's try to use SOX5 proxy of this instance. So let's copy the SOX5 proxy. In a browser, we need to add a proxy type SOX5. Just save. So let's enable the SOX5 proxy and reload the page. And as you see, it's working. So let's try one of our HTTP, one of our IPv6 proxies. So let's say this one, for example. As you see, the port is always different, because you're gonna use for a login, for making requests, the IP address of the server, but the result will be always different IPv6 address, as I will show you. So let's add okay. Now I should copy the yeah. So like this, the port's gonna be 3637, username, password, and let's try this IPv6 proxy. So as you see, we are using IPv6 address. We can just change port, because on this port you will always be using this IPv6 address. It's gonna be same, always you will use this port. But let's change this port on just 38, and let's reload the page. And as you see, the IPv6 address is different. So that's how it's working. You are using the IPv4 address to log into, but you will use actually IPv6 address. Okay. There are sometimes problems. For example, if you want to use createproxy.com, because at the moment createproxy do not support IPv6 protocol, so it will not work. You see, 502 bad gateway, and this may happen to you on many providers or many hosts. So first of all, make sure that hosts that you want to use IPv6 proxies on are supporting IPv6, because then people has problems, you know, with IPv6 proxies. So yes, IPv6 proxies may not work on every host. So because I want to show you how to use auto management for a VULTR, I will need to create one instance that has checked auto management support. So I'm going to VULTR, I click on Add Proxies, and I will create proxies in London, just one, again 500 of IPv6 proxies. Login tab is gonna be login. Can insert whatever username and password you want. And for this instance, I will check add IPv6 proxies to auto management. Then I click on create VULTR proxies again. Okay, now we have to again wait. Okay, so now our new proxies appear in our proxy list. As you can see now, we have only 504 entries, even if we have 2 instances, because all IPv6 proxies can now be used with auto management, and they are not in our proxy list. In our proxy list you can find only IPv4 proxies, HTTP and SOCKS 5. So let's try that our new instance is working. Let's use HTTP and let's try this proxy tester. So as you see, it's working. We can also try this proxy in a browser. We need to enable this London IP address. And as you see, we are using IP address of our new instance in London. So it's working. And now how the out management is working. So click on out management. I have already category. You may need to create new category by click on add new category button right here. So I already have VULTR credentials. Now you can click on add cloud credentials. With this you can add any provider from cloud tool section. So let's click on add cloud credentials and select VULTR profile that we want for what we want to create credentials. So as you see, you can find here all your cloud tools accounts, and you can select the proxy type for you want to create the credentials. So if you select IPv4, then you can find two proxies because you have two instances. But if you select HTTP IPv6, then you can use only 500 IPv6 proxies, because these 500 came from second proxy instance, because the first proxy instance cannot be used without management. You can also create SOCKS 5 IPv4 proxies and FTP and POP3 proxies. So I want to show you how it's working. I will create one HTTP IPv, or let's create one HTTP IPv4 proxy in Frankfurt, and you can select also expiration hours. This means after number of hours from now, this proxy will stop working and will be disabled. So if you select 24 in one day, these credentials will stop working automatically. You can select how to secure these credentials. So you can select login, and then you can insert proxy username, and then a proxy password, or you can secure them by IP address. So you can insert a list of IP addresses that you want to allow to use these credentials. I want to use login, so the proxy username is gonna be test, and proxy password is 1 2 3 4 5 6, and then just click on save. So as you see, this proxy will expire in 23 hours from now, and we can just copy and try if it's working. It is also important to know that the proxies created with out management will start work approximately in 1 to 2 minutes from the creating them, so they may not work immediately. It's working. As you see, the username and password we have just created with out management, and it's work. So that's how create proxy out management work. Once you don't need your credentials, you can just remove them or disable them. And that's from me all. Also, I can show you how you can remove your proxies. You can remove your instances one by one just by click on a trash button. So we have just one instance left from VULTR, or you can go to account list and you can click on the switch button, so it will remove all your instances as well. So now our proxy is supposed to be empty, and that's all from me. You may be interested how the automatization work, because automatization now do support VULTR. Basically, Create Proxy for you may create servers automatically after a specific time interval, and also Create Proxy may remove the servers for you automatically. It is useful for routers. I will talk about the routers in my next video, and because routers may be used to access all your IPv6 proxies or IPv4 proxies in your account, and basically you are using routers as any other proxy. You just connect to one single access point, and this access point assign every request to any of your proxies, and then the request is completed with one of your proxies randomly. It's called sometimes rotating. And in my other video you may also see how to publish VULTR proxies in marketplace, and that's all. Thank you for your time for watching, and see you in next video. Bye bye.